You believe your investment strategy is a masterpiece. In reality, it's probably just bland black coffee. It's safe, it's predictable, and it's utterly uninspired. Then you hear the whispers about adding spices, a dash of this stock, a pinch of that crypto. They promise it's the secret to magical returns. They tell you it will transform your financial life. But here is the hard truth they conveniently omit. Most people are just dumping random powders into their cup. They aren't creating magic. They're brewing poison. Today, we stop being amateurs. We learn the art and science of financial spice. And we'll start with the foundation, the coffee itself. Because if your base is weak, no amount of spice will save you. Let's be brutally honest for a moment. Your core portfolio, your PASIC, coffee, is the overwhelming determinant of your long-term success. This isn't the exciting part. It's the boring, unglamorous bedrock. It's the broad market index funds, the reliable bonds, the tangible real estate that grinds out returns with the slow, inevitable force of a glacier. People hate this part because it requires patience, a virtue scarcer than common sense in a bull market. They want the thrill, the dopamine hit of a 10-bagger. But a portfolio built solely on chasing these highs is like a diet of pure sugar, a euphoric rush followed by a devastating crash. So before you even think about reaching for the spice rack, you must ask yourself, is my coffee strong? Is my foundation of low-cost, diversified assets solid enough to withstand shocks? If you hesitate for even a second, you are not ready. Go back and fix it. Now, assuming your base is secure, let's talk about the first category of spices. The comforting classics. Think of cinnamon or nutmeg. In the investment world, these are your blue-chip, large-cap individual stocks. They aren't index funds, so they carry specific risk. But they are well-established, have a history of performance, and are generally understood by the market. Adding a sprinkle of Apple or Microsoft to a diversified portfolio can add a familiar, pleasant flavor. The danger here isn't that the spice is bad. The danger is in the dosage. The psychological trap is believing that because it's a good company, you can't have too much. You start by adding a pinch, then another, until your coffee is just a sludgy, overconcentrated mess. This is concentration risk disguised as investing in what you know. Your affection for a brand clouds your judgment. You ignore the valuation, the competitive landscape, the macroeconomic risks. You just want more of that comforting flavor, forgetting that even the best cinnamon in the world is disgusting by the spoonful. The rule for comforting spices is ruthless moderation. Allocate a strict, small percentage of your portfolio to these individual names, and never exceed it, no matter how much you love the company. This isn't an emotional relationship. It's a calculated chemical reaction designed to slightly enhance the base, not overpower it. Next, we move to the exotic spices. Cardamom, saffron, star anise. These are your speculative assets. Think cryptocurrencies, NFTs, or that pre-revenue biotech startup your cousin's friend told you about. They have an alluring, mysterious aroma and promise a taste experience unlike anything you've ever had before. The psychological pull here is immense. It's not just about money. It's about being part of the future, about being in the know. The stories of early adopters who turned a few grains of saffron into a feast are intoxicating. This narrative appeal is a powerful cognitive bias that completely short-circuits rational financial analysis. The sober reality is that for every success story, there are thousands who ended up with a mouthful of bitter dust. These assets have no history, no intrinsic value you can anchor to, and their prices are driven almost entirely by herd behavior and narrative momentum. Investing in them is not investing. It's gambling on cultural whims. Does this mean you should never touch them? Not necessarily. But you must treat them for what they are. Entertainment. This is money you have to be fully, emotionally, and financially prepared to lose. Think of it as the price of a ticket to a very volatile theater. The amount should be so small that if it goes to zero tomorrow, your reaction is a simple shrug, not a life-altering panic. This approach is a psychological firewall. By predefining the investment as a total loss, you sever the emotional connection. You won't be tempted to double down on a losing bet. You won't check the price every 5 minutes, and you won't let its wild swings infect the rational management of your core portfolio. Now for the most dangerous category, the aggressive spices. This is your cayenne pepper, your ghost chili. In finance, this represents leverage, options trading, and complex derivatives. These aren't just additives, they are multipliers. A tiny pinch can set your entire mouth on fire, for better or for worse. The allure of leverage is the promise of amplified gains. You put down a small amount of capital and control a much larger position. When the market moves in your favor, the returns are explosive. This creates a God complex. You feel like a genius, a master of the universe who has unlocked a secret cheat code to wealth. But the psychological cost is catastrophic, because leverage is a double-edged sword. It amplifies losses with the exact same brutal efficiency. A small market dip that would be a minor annoyance in a regular portfolio can become a total wipeout. The speed of the destruction leaves no time for rational thought, only pure, primal panic. For 99.9% of investors, these instruments are weapons of mass financial destruction. They should be avoided with extreme prejudice. The mental fortitude and deep expertise required to use them safely are far beyond the reach of almost everyone listening to this. Don't be the person who adds cayenne to their coffee because they saw a professional chef do it on TV. You will only get burned. So what is the secret? If cinnamon is risky in high doses, saffron is a gamble, and cayenne is poison, how do we achieve the magic of taste? The secret isn't in a single spice. It's in the blend. It's the art of being a barista, not a spice trader. A master barista understands that the goal is to create a harmonious cup, where each element complements the others. This translates to a written investment policy statement. This is your recipe book. It's a document you create in a moment of cold, sober rationality, and it dictates your entire strategy. It defines your core coffee, what percentage you'll allocate to cinnamon, stocks, what tiny fraction is reserved for saffron, gambles, and explicitly forbids cayenne, leverage. This document is your shield against your greatest enemy, your future emotional self. When the market is euphoric and you're tempted to dump everything into the latest exotic spice, your recipe book says no. When the market crashes and you're tempted to panic sell your solid coffee base, your recipe book says no. It is the anchor of logic in a sea of emotion. Finally, we must address the psychology of taste itself. Why are we so drawn to these spices in the first place? It's because we've been conditioned by the financial media and social media to see investing as a high-stakes game of picking winners. Boring, predictable growth is framed as failure. This is a manufactured narrative designed to sell newsletters and generate clicks, not to make you wealthy. You have to actively deprogram yourself. True financial magic is not found in explosive, overnight transformations. It's found in the slow, almost imperceptible compounding of a well-brewed, high-quality coffee. It's the magic of discipline, patience, and time. It's profoundly boring, and that is precisely why it works. So take a hard look at your cup. Is it filled with a chaotic, reactive mix of powders you threw in based on hype and emotion? Or is it a carefully constructed blend based on a written recipe, with a strong, solid base and only the most deliberate, measured additions of spice? One path leads to a bitter, undrinkable mess. The other leads to the quiet, satisfying magic of true financial well-being. Your challenge is to stop being a customer at the financial hype cafe, buying whatever overpriced, exotic drink is on the specials board. Become the barista. Take control of the ingredients, understand the chemistry, and commit to the process. The best cup of coffee is the one you brew yourself, with intention and discipline.